Hello, everybody.
Hey.
This is our special post 4th of July pre-recorded session.
Stream.
Yeah, this is the unfortunately we won't be able to get any kind of feedback from the crowd. We love getting like little things to help shape what we're discussing, because really it's all about you guys. We want to be like providing you with information that you care about. If you have something for us, it's really good to open that dialogue.
100%.
This time we're just gonna do it this way because of things.
I'm traveling around. This isn't my usual background, but yeah. So going off the laptop today, but we got cool things we want to talk about, so we are going to.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. Let's start with the stuff that's close to home with the GG Collective. NFTD launched HOPIA, so we have the first HOPIA competition ended. It just ended this morning, actually. And so the top 50 players from last week are going to receive HOPIA tokens. Now, the distribution isn't going to happen immediately. There's a couple things that have to happen. Blake, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. And Tim even made a really good post about it earlier today as well within the collective, kind of talking about, that first week of the HOPIA leaderboard competition is over now. What we're doing on our end now is working to confirm the scores. There was a little bit of an issue we had prior with just the game being client authoritative and not server authoritative. There's a chance people could, possibly get in there and mess with their scores, not be fair to the other players. So we're going through and making sure, everything is legitimate as we continue to move that away from a client authoritative game, because it's not going to be forever. From there, we are going to be sending out the first HOPIA. So right now it's really just being stored on our internal database, because HOPIA is going to be minted as it's earned. And we are still in the process right now of, doing all of our safety checks, or like internal audits, things of that nature, to make sure that our HOPIA distribution, our HOPIA mining is set up properly. It's mutable. It's not able to be touched by any of these outside parties, or at that point have the game be fully server authoritative, so there isn't any issue as we go to mine in the future. We don't have to worry about people taking advantage of the game. So to get your HOPIA,
minted to Solana, right? Solana?
Yep. So I was just going to say, to get your HOPIA for placing on the leaderboard, like Tim had said, make sure you connect your Phantom wallet to the GG Collective site, because HOPIA is going to be on Solana. So those tokens will be distributed in the next few weeks here. We got a lot going on with getting the GG token ready to get distributed, getting all the investor information finalized. There's a lot going on right now. It's the holiday being just a couple of days ago. But yeah, so we're working hard to get this out for you. But yeah, for the time being, it is going to be, internal database, and then we will distribute it on the blockchain as it's earned, and then that will be an automated process going forward. So, we just got to get all the kinks worked out before we release it into the wild.
There was another thing I wanted to mention. The tournament for this is always based on the original version. The alpha version is out there with the new art and some of the new game mechanics. And there is apparently a leaderboard there as well. That leaderboard is not what's being referenced for this. We're always looking at the retro version, the original version. So if you want to compete, make sure you're playing that version of the game. Yep. The new week has started. Might as well get cracking and see what kind of score you can come up with.
We hopefully in the next couple of weeks we will be able to make that big shift of, okay, we are on the new game now. We're off the retro version. We still really want to keep that as like maybe a side game mode or something. We built it, it was kind of our first thing that we really tackled on, as kind of our own indie game dev team, being, Tim and Drew, this vision has been, going on for years now, and that's kind of their baby. So we want to keep it around in some fun, small degree, maybe even still do every other month, do a competition for it or something, just to get people back in the old fields.
Well, I've been playing Pixels, and there are certain places in their game that you can walk up to an arcade cabinet and play like a mini game. I don't know if there would be something like that maybe you like
yeah,
you dock a ship, you like the game starts, and it could even be like an Easter egg where you have to like build something somewhere, and then it opens up the old game and you can play.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. What's like you can find? Oh, shoot! What game was that I was playing? I can't remember, but I was playing some game pretty recently, and there was all around the map you could find like different arcade games that you could just like not a part of the game, and they were pointless. Oh no, I was just playing when I replayed Fallout 4. Like there's little arcade games all around that you could play that have nothing to do with like that, but it's fun and they're kind of like little cool treasures to find, and so I like it.
Yeah, that's sweet. We can't talk about GG Collective without bringing up Mooncast too. I mean, week after week, we always get the Jason Hughes update, even if sometimes it has to be something that they're doing live. It's not always this nice typed format in Discord. Sometimes we actually get a live AMA. Anyway, in addition to the tech heavy description that he gives out to us, he also is very consistent with giving updates on this story that has been. I don't know if he's writing it or if it's coming from ChatGPT. I think it's him. I think it's just this beautiful little story because so many times it seems to relate to things that are going on. Now, you can argue about it, whether or not you think the metaphor is intentional or if it just happens to be something that your brain is reaching for. But this week, the protagonists of the story just stumble across this giant ogre. Now, if you look at that ogre's like 10 times, maybe more the mass of either of those guys. So it's like, that's a big deal. I was thinking that it seems as though they may have been talking about an ogre that they ran into themselves, because Angel, in doing some of the character movement rendering, came across a problem within Unity itself. And he had to completely rewrite an entire section of it because it wasn't working right. I've been calling it Jilpum Tutu because that's kind of just saying the abbreviation that it is. So Jilpum Tutu is their ogre, and it seems like he got it though. Like of everything that Jason had to say about it, it seems like he's got it nailed, and they've got the they've got the character motion working right now. He said it had something largely to do with collision, that things weren't bouncing off the right way. So Jilpum Tutu is our Unity ogre.
Unity ogre. I hope they work. They have to work that into the actual name somehow. Like, or have it be like you said. Like, maybe he has like across his belt, like carvings on his belt or something. That's
or in his club, it just says JLPM.
Yeah, like that would be so funny. That would be.
We love the inside jokes, don't we? There was a bunch of other stuff that happened. One of the things that I really wanted to call attention to was what Eric was up to with the blockchain side. He paved the road to the base blockchain. So they have their local chain and the base blockchain that they're able to mint assets to now. And he also worked to connect the NFT metadata to IPFS. So they'll be able to reference IPFS in order to call that data anytime something's being minted, rather than having that being stored in any compromisable place. You got that decentralized information that we were talking about, like with the deep network last week.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that's near and dear to us because of the Pierce T1 Titan, Star Atlas had their huge town hall this past week. It lasted about 2 hours, and there were some people that were expecting a little bit more as far as like launch information or dates or things like that, but they were kind of vague with specific dates on things. Like the crew packs have been a really big thing. The crew is supposed to act sort of like the PFP project for them, and it's going to be these are all going to be augmentable. You can level them up, and they have different rarities and things like that. So there's a lot of people that are like kind of waiting with bated breath for this crew launch, and they're still not even giving a date, but they did talk about it for a bit. And one of the things that came alongside that was the fact that annually they're going to be distributing 3 faction leaders, one to each of the factions, in order to qualify for this distribution. I don't know how random it's going to be. I don't know if there's going to be anything they didn't really say about whether it was going to be weighted. It seems like it could just be anyone that meets the qualifications. And what you'll need to have is one of each of the rarities of that specific species. So like it has to be a species within the faction. If they're all single faction and one of each rarity, you could qualify in order to receive this drop. And it is the faction leader crew card, which they then shower you with all sorts of like benefits. It's as if you got voted president. So all of a sudden you have access to the tier 5 habitation. You have access to a tier 5 large ship, and you'll have that for the entire year. At the end of the year, you'll keep the crew card, but you'll no longer have access to the extra benefits. But you do also get some kind of role in the political sphere. You're going to kind of be permanently marked. Like they always call our presidents Mr. President even after they're not president anymore.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's going to be something like that.
They still get Secret Service, you know.
Well, maybe they do. I guess we'll see. That was just one of the things they talked about. They actually started off the whole thing talking about some of the upcoming events. They're going to be doing something in Vegas at what is it, Evo? What is that called? Evo, whatever. So anyway, that's going to be just a Star Atlas meetup. The gang's going to kind of get together for that, and then the big news is that they're going to be at the Breakpoint conference in Singapore on July 20th and 21st, and they've gone all out for this one. They're co-sponsoring the central hub for Breakpoint, and that'll be on the 4th floor of the conference center that they're in. The 3rd floor is set up for essentially like side events, and they have booked space for launching their own concurrent conference that they're calling the Star Atlas Summit. So while Breakpoint's going to be going on, they're going to be doing some things directly with the Breakpoint up on the 4th floor, but they're also going to be on Sunday, or I'm sorry, on the 21st, they're going to be doing an 8-hour conference of their own, where there's going to be talks with the devs. They're going to be doing a Surge tournament, and they're going to be what's the other one? They're also going to be there's a hackathon. They're going to be running a hackathon there as well. So that's those of you who can make it to Singapore, it sounds like it's going to be a really good time to check out what they're up to, and there are going to be prizes given out for the tournament and the hackathon. So so that will happen on July 21st. They also talked about the upcoming launches. So they were originally going to be doing launch version 2.2. They kind of reconfigured everything, and they're going to be launching another. They're just calling it pre-season. And it's going to be testing the features of Project Gallia, which is the way that they describe it. This is Star Atlas. Project Gallia is the moving around, getting in your ship, flying your ship around. It's the 3D game. But in conjunction with that, they're also going to be testing Fleet Command, which is sort of the RTS upgrade of what we see in Starbased, or what we see in Sage Labs. Sage Labs, Starbased. Sage is Star Atlas Golden Era. So the upgrade of that is we showed a video of it last week or the week before, and it's beautiful. It's you're manipulating your ships around the universe, but it is technically an RTS because you're going to be strategically moving about that board, and you could be entering hostile territory at times, or maybe you're just like hauling freight or whatever. But it is happening live. So they're going to be working on testing all of those things. And then they've also talked about during this phase, they're looking to have a land sale. They're going to be selling both commercial and residential plots. So things that the land sale is going to be underway. You're going to be looking at, I think they said rentals and purchases, where you're going to be able to get a hold of places at, I believe they're starting with the Oni Central Space Station, where they're going to start offloading spots for you to call your own. You can build out from there. something that just happened today. They the Star Atlas DAO. They did an AMA of sorts. They were discussing what's happened. They also put out a lengthy Medium article. But today, the first four, essentially the foundational, what they're called the Polis improving proposals, the first four pips are being presented, and they're going to be foundational because they're things just like what the DAO needs to vote on in regards to what is the DAO, and then they're going to be voting on who are going to be the council members, and they're voting on unlocking the treasury and things like that. So those first four are going to be critical. They're foundational, and everything's going to be built off of that. But now people are able to make their own proposals. They do have a proposals channel in their Discord server, and if you have something that you see that needs to be addressed, and you think you might be able to get enough people behind you, you can champion that thought and bring it in there, create a proposal. Now, they are very clear. They want it to be thoughtful. Obviously there's plenty of people that could make jokes, but even if it's something that is serious, take the time to explain it. Take the time to make sure that it's clear. Otherwise, you run the risk of it not actually passing, only because people don't understand what you're talking about. So, so a well-crafted proposal is going to kind of be mandatory in order to make it happen. The council is going to be there to review these proposals right off the bat. They're going to go through them and figure out whether or not they should even take the time to take them to a larger vote. And that's, as of now, that's going to be unpaid work. These are people that are going to be voted into office, and they're just going to do it because they're a part of the game and they believe in it.
Yeah.
So for now, like I said, it's an unpaid position. But it's going to be absolutely crucial because they're going to need to filter that stuff. There's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of ideas. What's your take, Blake?
Well, I think it's really similar to how we're going about the collective, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have our first initial round of proposals and votes that go through for the GG token holders that essentially lay those foundations as far as, okay, this is our idea as far as the projects we want to pursue right off the bat. This is what we think we want to allocate for funding. This is, these are going to be the administrators in these positions for the first, 12 months or 18 months or however we decide to lie out those terms. What are those term limits? There's going to be important things coming through right off the bat that, you have to have first and foremost. And then from there, our administration team, the people that are appointed similarly, will be able to start filtering proposals that come through from the community. One of our kind of almost, benefits to being a smaller community is I don't think we're going to, at least in the current space, get overwhelmed with a bunch of random proposals and things like that. I think the things that are going to be pushed through from the people are going to be, like you said, very well thought out. Hopefully they understand if they're putting the time into something, they want to do it for the right reasons. They actually want to make it successful. We'll be able to review that. But, the other part that we really want to go about, we'd love it to just be automatically community reviewed. Have a system where it doesn't just go to the administration team. First and foremost, it goes to the people. I think as we grow, there's going to be some degree of a different process, right? I mean, I don't like the idea of paying for a proposal, right? You'll see it's like, oh, if you burn X amount of tokens, you can then submit a proposal. It's like, I shouldn't have to pay for a suggestion to make something better.
That's actually funny because they were talking about how to limit the workload of the council members, and I put that out there. Some places actually have you pay.
Yeah, and I understand it. It does. I think, especially with something like Atlas, right? Because Atlas is worth, it's worth cents. People have thousands, tens of thousands of them. Say if you just burned 50 Atlas or 100 Atlas, like something like that, I could maybe understand. But I don't know, and because there's a way to get Atlas as well, right? GG is limited in the way that we sold it. Like, we don't want people, throwing their money away for something that might not even come to fruition. So
I see some potential Bodhi utility. I might have to talk about that anyway.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, shoot, why not? I think especially with something like Mooncast, maybe there's something specific to the Mooncast team, right? Is people with Bodhi can burn Bodhi to throw out, because it is just a meme coin, right? People bought it for the support of the project.
Yeah.
I think that could be a really cool utility. But yeah, I love it. I think it's really important to have. Starless is a very ambitious project. They have been from the get-go. They're doing awesome things, and I think they're going to keep doing awesome things. And so I'm really happy to see that they're pushing the DAO forward, because I know something that they've been something important to them, but we haven't got to see it yet.
Yeah, and what's interesting about them is they're always getting something done, and then all of a sudden there's just a lot that gets done all at once, and then it's just like a total mouthful. I don't know how long have we been talking about already, and this is just kind of a brief overview.
Yeah,
we could probably sit here. There are people that are sitting around for hours discussing like the minutiae of what just happened as a result of last week's town hall meeting. It's a huge endeavor, and they're not messing around. They're taking the time to make sure that all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted. It's neat to see, and that's. I'm glad you brought it up about the collective. It's going to be. I think it's going to be good to watch, if nothing else, than just to see something in action. The actual DAO process here, and it's a big one. There's a lot of people that are involved as token holders, as Polis holders. So we're going to be able to see a whole lot of good and bad that comes out of it. And we can use that to kind of shape the way that that we craft the GG collective.
100%.
So that's really awesome to be able to work kind of side by side there.
Tandemly, yeah. We're
concurrently, I guess is a way.
That's a great way to put it, because separate paths doing different things, but moving through the space at the same time. Kind of with. We're not doing the same things, but I think we have a very similar core belief system as far as this is what we think Web3 is. This is what we think decentralization is. This is the best path to move forward to create a viable ecosystem for everyone. And there's just similarities, because obviously we think this is the right way to do it. That's why we're doing it this way. And I think they've, on their own side, have discovered that as well. Like, oh, this is a legitimate way to do it and have it be for the people, by the people.
Agreed. One of the other games that we've been covering that I'm really happy to be talking about these days, Wild Forest. They're in the middle of Play to Airdrop Season 2. And we mentioned the fact that you were able to burn your beta units into what they were calling Essence. And that is now usable within the Forge store in the game. So if you're actually in the game and you click on the store, it'll bring up. Right now, they just have one thing in there. It's a huge chest from which you can get either a common, uncommon, or rare unit, and those are 200 essence right now. They have said that they may put other things in there. They mentioned maybe skins, packs, and maybe even the premium battle pass. Now, what's interesting about this season, I mentioned this last week. The previous season had a marathon. They call it the marathon, where you could qualify for the premium battle pass by performing enough actions in game. It was three wins a day for 15 days out of the whole season. This time around, it costs 300 WF tokens. If you didn't get WF tokens from the airdrop, the only way to get them right now is through the signal fire, and that's a random event. And to get 300 of them through that could take a while. Now, they may open up midway through the season. They may open up other ways to get WF rewards, so that people that haven't been able to accrue the WF token can get it and then get access to that premium battle pass. But as of right now, if you don't have it, you're limited to the free battle pass. But all that being said, you can still get items off of the Mavis market, and if you would go in there right now, we have we get to see that Wild Forest units are absolutely lights out number one as far as volume on Mavis market right now. There's just a lot of people
by double.
Yeah. And then the second place is their NFT project, their PFP project. Wild Forest is really heating up within the Ronin community. And so really just wanted to call some attention to this. People that are looking for a game, if you like an RTS genre, then get in there, because as a free-to-play player, this is not This is not about financial even. This is about just enjoying the game. I feel like
This is game advice.
But no, yeah. So it's a game worth playing right now. They've made a bunch of adjustments since the last season that have kind of knocked out some of the. There was a little bit of an exploit that was happening that some people would be able to start before others in certain matches. They have a workaround now. It's when you launch the game, both people are restricted from their movement until both people are freed to go about their business. So the game is flowing really well. It's tight. There are so many different units. There's so many different permutations that you can put together a deck with. The ninja, the ninja that he's looking out there right now is probably the most popular character. It just really high DPS and tends to outlast a lot of the other characters. Definitely one-on-one. It's the most sought after character for right now. Now these all have a rarity ranging from common. We're seeing the gray border there on that. That's a common character. They go all the way up to legendary, and the higher rarities do receive stat bonuses. So you want to be taking the time to level up and improve the rarity of your units in game. Once per day, you can mint one of those units. And if it's a unit that you already have, then you can just take it as an NFT. You can take it to the Mavis market and offload it to someone else. So it is a game that has earnings active, even though the token isn't live. The token is still just a database thing. There are still ways that you can earn there by playing the game, improving your characters, and then minting them.
100%.
So it's kind of it's the newest iteration of what we were looking at back in the last bull run, where we had these you had all sorts of people that were they were piloting or the scholarship program for Axie and things like that. But those were all within ecosystems or at least economies that were unsustainable. Here we have a much more, I would say, timid approach to the economy, a much more reserved approach to unleashing the token and creating hyperinflation of the NFTs even. You can see from the market itself, you can see that there's just supply and demand taking over. There are certain things that are valued differently than others based on utility, based on rarity, all of those things. And then once the token is introduced, like I said, they're taking their time. They want to make sure that they have the levers that they need in order to prevent those disasters that happened in so many games back in 2021.
Well, and I think that's, that's the natural progression, right? That's how it should be. You should learn. If you don't learn from the mistakes of whoever might have come before you, that's how history repeats itself. So I'm glad, and it's awesome to see. I'd rather have a timid approach on something that has the legs to run than have something that's all out right in the beginning that's going to leave me, dried.
Whatever, right? And that's actually a great segue to Nine Heroes, because they're doing the same thing with just their game itself. Like, rather than leaving the season 2 gameplay up and allowing people to play it in that format or trying to build on top of it as they're working in new features, they've actually taken it down entirely. Now it's been down for over a month, and it will be down. They said they're looking at the end of Q3 to be able to get the season 3 launched. And back when we were playing it, I was raving about it. It's a really fun shooter. 6v6 is that was the format they were going on there. It's kind of a King of the Hill kind of thing. They're working on all sorts of different things: new maps, new formats, new characters, and so they're waiting to have that finely tuned before they release it to the public and have it really tested. In the meantime, they've been doing a lot of just social activities, and recently they launched what they're calling the Traveling Carnival, and you can get a certain role within their Discord, the I Love Yarn role. And if you do that, you'll qualify. There's a daily allowance of it. You can just go into one of the channels and get the daily allowance, but you can also participate in a bunch of the different activities that they have. They're playing other games, as long as it's a Web3 game. I was actually talking to them today while they were doing what was that one called? Moonray. So they were just playing this other Web3 game, which is that was like I don't know, it was like a sword brawler. You're running around, and you're just hacking other people. Sometimes you can do it on teams, or you can do a battle royale. You actually get to kind of choose your format. But it's a new Web3 game that just recently started their play to airdrop season. So they were just kind of gathering people. That one was through the Epic Games store. They're not exclusive to Epic. They're looking at any Web3 games, but they're trying to kind of bring attention to other Web3 games that are succeeding in the space. As long as they want to make sure that they don't have like a paywall. They don't want to be diving into games that you need to have a certain NFT purchase made, because then it cuts people off. You don't have access unless you have the NFT. So they're looking for the ones that are publicly available, that don't have a cost of entry, and there are enough of them out there that they've been kept busy. So they run these games, and then if you just show up, I just showed up and watched. I didn't have time to play, but I'm watching them play this game, and I qualified for a yarn drop out of that. So I got yarn in my wallet. Now that yarn, it's a Discord game, so you just have that kind of you're building your tally, but then they have a bazaar within the Discord. You can actually use yarn to purchase vouchers for the Nyan token. So there's that, and they're also putting other things in there too. You can get a creator role, like social media access to certain channels within them if you use your yarn and purchase that role. They're also getting partnerships with other games, and so they're getting early access codes that you can purchase through that too. So there's a lot of collaboration going on with them, and there always has been since the very beginning. They did those collaborations with their PFPs, everything like that. So they're just continuing that model, and this is all just in kind of tiding people over, because people, I mean, if you go through their Discord, it's just like when season 3 over and over again, because everyone enjoyed the game, but it's not there to play right now. And so they're definitely looking for ways to actively engage the community, but they have decided that it's better to bring it down rather than to work out the bugs step by step. So,
which, I mean, hey, I as long as there's clear communication and they're being upfront and honest, and they are good on their word, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, there's one last thing we're going to reference today, and then we'll let it go. Spellborn. Last week we were talking about the impending public launch, and it actually happened last Thursday, right on Independence Day for those of us in the States. They've called season 1. It's season 1 Higher Stakes, and it went live last Thursday. One of the things that they did about it, so it's a continuation. So if you were already in the game because you had either an apartment or one of the NFT monsters, it's the same gameplay. They haven't added any new content, but the numbers that they saw come in were just incredible. They took a snapshot yesterday. It was over 2,000 concurrent players and over 12,000 daily active users. This was after 3 days. They have 190,000 people signed up for the game, or at least 190,000 accounts. We'll say that, but they're actually getting quite a bit of gameplay there, and so their servers were feeling it. They actually opened up 4 new servers to be able to handle the volume. But one other really curious thing that they did, because of the success that they were seeing, because of the number of people playing and the progress that they were able to make as a result of the private beta, they decided to expand the airdrop to a full 10% of the total supply. So those of you who are earning points in that game right now, that's a huge chunk of the total supply that's going to be distributed all at once. So what's really nice is that's going to give a bigger piece of the pie to the people that just came in, because there's just going to be that many more tokens available to earn. So thought that was really generous. I'm excited to see how that goes. They haven't published an end date to that to the point gains for the airdrop. So we'll have to wait and see when that's all going to happen. But It's a fun game if you like Pokemon. If you like, and the retro style, like some people do, some people don't, but I'm personally enjoying the 8-bit graphics style, the top down 2D stuff. It's
yeah,
and I'm really excited about the new content. They've shown a little bit. They we don't have it right now, but they published something that was like I mentioned the Man Groovy character. It's like a crab with a mini mangrove tree on its head. Well, apparently they swarm. Like you find multiples of them at a time, and they will all come at you, and you have to. I guess you have to battle a team of them at once rather than just one of them at a time. So they got all sorts of ideas for the PvE. There is going to be PvP battling. We're pretty excited to see what else they come up with. In the meantime, they're clipping along really well, and they're handling this rapid expansion pretty well too. They made the wise decision of adding some servers, and it is still there's some bugs. They're working them out, but it's going pretty well. I was still able to get my stuff done in a relatively short amount of time. So just be persistent, get your quests done, and keep gathering all those monsters. So that's pretty much it, guys. There's plenty more that's happening out there in the world. If you want to hear about a specific game, tap in. Let us know in the GG Collective server. Come into general, come into any of our games. Talk to us about what you want to know about, what you want to see. Well, look at that. Apparently, Nate knew that I needed a Quasso, and he just thought it into being. So cut me off. Really good. That's perfect. Now I guess it's time to say goodbye. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about. We'll be happy to dig into it, and we'll let you know. But as for this time, we're all done. Thanks a bunch, guys. See ya.
All right, everybody. Bye.